a 32-year-old come to me. He said, "Doctor, I'm fatigued. I don't know what to do." He's just said 1 week duration. I said, "Only a week?" He said, "Yeah, maybe 2 weeks." He said, "Actually, it's happening from 6 months. I've been here." "And how long are you here?" If you question him further. "Well, I've moved to Bangalore since 6 months."
168 hours in a year people are spending in traffic.
I see so many young girls, all in their 20s also, all on their AirPods. They're on either they're watching something or they're on the calls. Their office calls are on the metro itself. They're never free. When you're not free at all, your body is actually exposed to so much of cortisol. And that increases your stress. And cortisol then increases your BP. We have a lot of patients coming to our clinic at Apollo who actually bring us a report. They would have done a health check and then they give us the thing what ChatGPT has given them as a diagnosis. So they just tell us, "Doctor, just treat this."
There must be at least one member of your family or you yourself who's complaining constantly about feeling fatigued. You are not that age, but then you feel like you're actually aging. What is happening with our metabolic health? Where are we going wrong? To talk about this on World Health Day, we have with us Dr. Anasuya Shetty, who is internal medicine expert and general physician from Apollo Clinics at Koramangala. We welcome you, doctor. Thank you very much for joining us today. So my first question to all the guests is, what would you have been if not a doctor?
Thank you for the invitation, Jenma. Hadn't I been a doctor, I wanted to be a sports person. Yes, I wanted to play hockey. But in my time, hockey wasn't, we didn't get so much encouragement. So I was given a choice whether you choose education, I wanted to be a doctor. That was my second choice. School, we always had hockey. So I was given a choice, either you be a doctor or you choose hockey. I had no choice because after school, there was nothing I could do to go forward. Then I chose, as usual, everybody. I just chose medicine and then I got the...
But when I look at you, the spirit we've been interacting for the past 5-10 minutes now, and I see so much energy in you. But I must tell you something, have you heard this in your clinic as well? People are 30-year-old, they show up every day, they have work, they show up to their work, everything is fine. But then they feel that they're 50 years old. There's kind of aging, not biological aging, but there is one kind of dip in there, that energy and sudden increase of, okay, oh my God, I feel like 50-year-old. Do you see that in your place?
Yes, it happens a lot. A lot of patients who come to us are youngsters now. If you noticed, we used to see BP, sugar at 50 during our parents' time. But now we've seen that such illnesses, metabolic illnesses, are actually seen in the young. That is because of the long hours of work. They are stressed out, burnt out, and then also none of them exercise, I think. Very few people exercise. But even if they do exercise, after that half an hour, 1 hour of exercise, it is sitting again for the next 8 to 10 hours. Again, the long commute hours, they're in traffic for 1 to 2 hours, and then they get back home late, back to calls again, then the dinner is postponed, and then the sleep, and then they are on the phone when they're on the bed. All of this is actually a cycle.
My God, it's like one chain went off milk now, There was one study which showed that Bangaloreans, especially talking about Bangalore, I'm sure it must be in other metros as well. But it showed that 168 hours in a year people are spending in traffic.
True.
Yeah. So how much of this is actually adding on to their metabolic health deterioration?
It adds on quite a bit because the time which they are supposed to exercise, eat, sleep, that recovery which they need is not happening. So they work for 8 hours, go back home to recover. They're again back on the phone. They're again, after the phone calls, they're again back on screen. And then where is the sleep?
I think even on the road, they're on the screen.
Yeah,
actually constantly attending meetings.
Yes. I travel by metro. I see so many young girls, all in their 20s also. All are in their AirPods. They're on either they're watching something or they're on the calls. Their office calls are on the metro itself. They're never free. When you're not free at all, your body is actually exposed to so much of cortisol. and that increases your stress. Your stress actually increases the cortisol, and cortisol then increases your BP, and the rest of the cycle just proceed.
Yeah, recently we had a doctor who was telling us about the importance of cortisol, how important it becomes to actually have it at the right level. So, you're talking about metabolic health. You brought in the word metabolic health, which is rightly, I think, for World Health Day, when looking at preventive health especially. So, metabolic health, I think, is going for a dance everywhere, every young, old, even the children for that matter. So, what are some of the symptoms that you're actually seeing? For instance, when you have acidity or bloating. So we all kind of dismiss it as your daily thing. Okay, I have acidity, go pop a pill and then you find it. And then you do something as you're 15, then you say, it's because I didn't steam last night. You know the reason. But what are some of the symptoms, clinical symptoms that you're seeing because of this?
So actually, occasional fatigue, occasional acidity is fine. But then it becomes a daily affair. It's interfering with your work. Then yes, there is something wrong. Please go visit a doctor. Acidity is not the only symptom. There are gut issues. People come with irregular bowel habits. Even though people sleep, they say, doctor, I don't feel refreshed. I have slept for 6 to 8 hours. But I not, play that they have. Their sleep itself is not refreshed. And then they come with mild chest pain. There are other symptoms which you can look for. Mild chest pain, headaches, and then bloating. That's one of the most common, and heartburn. The anxiety levels are also high. You should keep a check on all this. Every symptom which is occurring need not, occasionally, yes, don't visit the doctor. But if it is coming as a pattern, every second day I am having a headache, every third day I have pop a pill for acidity, then yes, something is wrong. Please visit your doctor, get yourself checked. That's the easiest.
Do we have like a combination of these symptoms, ma'am? Which are these symptoms, if you can tell our viewers, some of these symptoms which you should not really ignore but take it very seriously and do visit a doctor?
Headaches. Headaches are the most frequent symptoms. And fatigue. Fatigue, they are no physical activity. You get fatigue, yes, if you've exercised for an hour, you feel that fatigue. But this is just they're sitting for 8 hours and then they're fatigued. That is mental fatigue. That adds on to your stress, and then comes your other parameters. Then comes acidity. Frequent acidity, burping, which is not a good sign. You can't be eating every day a Pantocid or any tablet as such. Those are the symptoms. Gut issues. Gut issues are the main things which a young adult come. Today, actually, I had an OP, a 32-year-old come to me. He said, doctor, I'm fatigued. I don't know what to do. He's just said 1 week duration. I'm not able to get up. When I get up, I feel like I have to sleep. And then my bowel habits are not okay. I said, only a week? He said, yeah, maybe 2 weeks. Then you prod a little more. He said, actually, it's happening from 6 months. I've been here. And how long are you here? If you question in further. Well, I've moved to Bangalore since 6 months. And after that, I have noticed these symptoms.
So what is it in? Is it the city that is doing this to people or not? Where is it coming?
It is not the city. It is your lifestyle, I think. The long hours of work, and then again the sleep hours are reduced, or they may be sleeping for 6 hours. But when they get up, it is like, have I slept? And then again they get back. That not sleeping is a stressor itself. And then they go to office, again another stressor. They are constantly on an email, on a notification, and then social media, and the rest of it. And the other thing is sunlight exposure, I feel. We are not exposing ourselves to sunlight. Everything is inside an AC setup. We are all indoors. We travel in AC. We sit in an AC. Where is the sunlight? So again, your nutrition, micronutrients are also deficient because of your eating habits. Everything is ordered through apps. You don't know what you're at. I mean, you're sitting, you need to finish lunch in the next 15 minutes. You just order food. You're not looking at the nutrient content of the food. You just need to eat the food in 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, only processed food can come. You can't cook a meal in 10 minutes. If you order in an app, in 10 minutes, you can have only a processed meal. Nothing else. Or else they will swipe and they will take a chips packet and have it. ultra processed. So most of it, this is your lifestyle which is going on, repeating on, off, and that is adding it to it.
When you have this repetition of this whole thing, how much of this can actually affect your recovery from, suppose somebody's been diagnosed with a BP or a blood pressure or diabetes, then how much of this can actually stop the reversal? Because now everybody is talking about reversing a lot of these conditions, isn't it? Like these are all lifestyle diseases.
Yes, lifestyle diseases are easily reversible if they're picked up early, before an organ damage happens. Like pre-diabetes is reversible. Your HbA1c has not crossed 6.5. Simple measures. All you need to do a little bit of walking, 30 to 40 minutes of exercise. Choice is yours. You walk 10,000 steps or you do any form of exercise, swimming, play a sport, anything is required. Stop eating processed food. Cook your meals or eat a healthy meal. If you're not able to cook, even if you're ordering the meal, look at what you're ordering. It should be a cooked meal. There should be some fiber in your meal. Vegetables are important for your gut to process that food. Don't eat only junk.
Are there some safe food options that you can actually tell our viewers, like, these are some of the safe, like you said, fiber in your meal, but then are there anything that you consider even when you're ordering, any of these apps? So are there any such?
Of course, you get your rice, dal and your veggies. That is your safest Indian combination. You can order that on your meal. Of course, there are exotic stuff, but the basic rice, dal, which dal is your protein. Calculate how much you need. Simple. Everybody's on an app. Why can't you calculate how much your protein requirement is there? Just eat a good portion of dal, a good portion of vegetables, which can be cooked or a raw vegetable, and a small amount of roti or rice. That should do. The add-ons which come are the ones which add the problem.
Yeah. So, normally what happens is, like when you're talking about pre-diabetes, there is this whole buzzword of insulin resistance that runs. So how do you separate the symptoms of insulin resistance or stress? And, sometimes it kind of goes hand in hand as well, right? So how do you...
So easily what you're calling as fatigue could be one of the metabolic parameters for diet, what you're checking. Fatigue. When you go, ideally what we say is when you're fatigued for so long and you feel tired, go to the doctor and get yourself checked. So one of the checks the doctor does is and works you up are for these metabolic syndrome. That is, your sugar will be checked, which is basically your HbA1c. Sugar may be normal, but if you know, Indians are basically, what we have is impaired fasting glucose. Our fasting sugars are very high. Not the after food may not be so high, but our fasting glucose is very high. So if you take a cutoff, it is around 126. So since the impaired fasting glucose is there, prior, it's an easier way for you to do even a prick test. You can do a blood test to a glucometer. You can check that. But ideally visit and get yourself checked for pre-diabetes. Get your BP checked. BP is important. Youngsters are landing with high BP and they're not. Most people say, I'm so young. Why do I need to check? It comes after 40, 50. No, you have to check. Keep a check on it. The other thing is, please measure your waist. The waist, yes. The waist circumference is the best indicator for somebody who's going to progress pre-diabetes or EP or other thing. It's around 90 centimeters for men and around 80 centimeters for women. If you're exceeding it, that there is this truncal obesity, which is actually adding on to it, then you have to get yourself checked for fatty liver, which is the most common. So that is your precursor for your pre-diabetes and many other things. Also get yourself checked for nutritional deficiencies. Common indicator is your fatigue, tiredness, feeling is no sleep. All of that adds on because of your B12 deficiency, vitamin D.
I was going to ask you that, is there any specific reasons for your poor sleep? Because like you said, one is mostly mental. The second thing is you sleep, but you don't wake up fresh. So can there be an underlying metabolic disease?
Yes.
The condition because of this, is there anything?
Your thyroid disorders cause sleep-related problems. Vitamin B12 deficiency also causes. Some people may be obese. So they have to be checked for sleep apnea. So in sleep apnea, you're not breathing well at night. So it keeps you awake without you knowing. So when they get up in the morning, they have headaches and they don't feel refreshed and they want daytime sleepiness. They want to go back to sleep again. So one of the things is get it checked. Once you get it checked, it can be always correct.
So, when you're talking about all of these fatigue and your pre-diabetes, thyroid, all of these metabolic health challenges, normally what happens is, like you said very rightly, whenever somebody is feeling, acidity or burning sensation, they go and take a antacid, and that can happen every single day as well. Even after saying that that's not, it could be that. If somebody is feeling very tired, then maybe they'll drink some energy drink
Or a vitamin.
or a vitamin tablet, then they say multivitamins, and then they take a supplement and they feel that it's okay. So all of this is kind of self-medication, isn't it? Or these days, ChatGPT, thanks to AI, you have multiple ones. So you just type your symptom and then it say, this. And then they themselves become the doctor and they take pills. And sometimes even they may ask ChatGPT what kind of medications can I take, and they probably will end up doing that as well. How dangerous can this?
Very dangerous. We have a lot of patients coming to our clinic at Apollo who actually bring us a report. They would have done a health check and then they give us the thing what ChatGPT has given them as a diagnosis. So they just tell us, doctor, just treat this. Yeah. So doctor, treat this, not the report, what the ChatGPT has said. So we just have a look at it. What else is missed? There's so many things which are missed on it because your symptoms, we have to physically examine the patient. We have to correlate his symptoms with what test he has done. It's not just review your reports and give you just basic medications and just end you. So you may be having gut issues, which may be due to your thyroid or your B12 deficiency. You may be a pre-diabetic, which may be missed. And some of your inflammatory markers may be so high that you need to go in for a further test to check for your heart and other things. All these doesn't happen on ChatGPT. You have to give your symptoms, and based on that, the doctor is going to give you a diagnosis and what is required and what is not required. It is just not writing a prescription of medications. Medications is the last thing. We have to advise you if you have central obesity or you have a fatty liver, there are lifestyle changes which help you to reverse all of that. All that is required is a few steps of walking, modify your diet, and everything comes back to normal.
Okay. So, this interesting, is there any case that you have seen that actually delayed diagnosis because of, using an AI to kind of delay the whole thing coming to the...
Lots of them. We have, these pre-diabetics. Most of these youngsters come with pre-diabetes. I think around a year ago that was, young gentleman, 32 years old. So he has given his lipid profile and other things. He has done all the tests. The yearly health check he has done, and he has uploaded it on this thing, and it has said nothing is required, and his LDL was more than 1.5 times normal, and there were lots of other risk factors which he has ignored. He said, yeah, I will look after it. The app has helped. Exactly 2 months later, and he may be one of a person, everybody need not land with that. He had a stroke. Young 32-year-old with a stroke. And then landed. He's still on recovery. He's still on physiotherapy, recovery, because even in the heart, it showed some symptoms. There were some changes in the heart. So only the blood workup is not going to check. A simple TMT, treadmill test, or another echo could have picked up something. He just saw the girdle coat, left it, and now 1.5 years later, but he's better. On his way to recovery, there are some residual changes. He's all right, but had that damage been picked up earlier? Had its symptoms? He had symptoms. He had headaches. He had numbness in his fingers. It was showing some symptoms. He ignored the symptoms and just uploaded the thing. I think that's one thing which always teaches, please don't.
I think these days, there's so much of, I must say that, it's in a way good that a lot of people are conscious and they do their blood markers. But I think the problem is that the next step after doing your markers, what are you doing with it? And maybe whatever you're doing is not what you should be actually doing, but something else. For all of it, which needs health check with the doctor's prescription. And so, my question is, at Apollo, do you have any of these, like a package where you do like a preventive care, anything of that thing?
Yes, we do. We do actually. It's just not that we tell the patient, do a package and come. If patient comes in for a consultation, we assess what is required. Only then we ask them to do those tests. I mean, everything is not required for everyone. Yeah, so like it's not required. If you see some of the health packages they do, there's so many things, they come as a booklet. There's so many things which are not required. And some of the markers come and they don't know what to do. You're stressed seeing only those reports. Those are actually
Some of the reports, which are some of the tests that, say, for instance, a 35-year-old or a 30-year-old should actually do, every year, 6 months once, whatever it is, which are some of the tests.
get your hemoglobin checked, which comes with a simple CBC. Get your sugars checked, which is vital. Checks for pre-diabetes or diabetes, etc. Your lipid profile, the entire lipid profile. People come with only one total cholesterol. There are 5 other parameters. Do the entire lipid profile. It shows your HDL, which is your good cholesterol and it's protective for your heart. Get your kidney function test and your liver function. These are at least the basic tests which you need to do. If these markers are abnormal, yes, then we ask for a further test. An ultrasound to check for a fatty liver and then other cardiac evaluation if required. But these simple things are required. The other thing is a nutritional marker, which is important nowadays. Your B12 and your D3, or everybody seems to be deficient in it. That's because of our lifestyle. We're living indoors. We're not exposed to sunlight. We don't have time to go in the sun.
And according to the consumption of protein and healthy food, I think that is something which is lacking in. Because of our lifestyle, again, we want to eat quickly and then we, like you said, we order and there's this.
The gut actually, if you want to treat the gut health, gut is the second brain, we say. The gut actually requires a good amount of fiber for its food. So the food for the gut is your fiber. So if you want your gut health to work well, you should give it adequate amount of fiber in your diet. And fiber comes from roughage. That is your salads, your vegetables and fruits with the skin on. All of them add fiber to your diet. Simple thing. Add it in your daily diet. Some amount of vegetables. Yes, it will add roughage.
I have a couple of questions that our readers have sent to us, so we should probably take them up. So, the one health complaint that Bangalore professions, they normalize too much. They're like, this is normal. And this is because if you look at our generation, older generation, they'll say, sugar heat. Here is the word, at least in Karnataka, it's quite a common word used. So, what is about this normalizing a lot of things? Is that okay? Is that not okay?
Normalizing symptoms which occur daily? No, it's not okay. Once in a while is some symptoms, I'm saying. But if you have pre-diabetes, it's not normal. But then people say, my HbA1c is 6.2, yours is 6.3, so it's fine. Right. You understand?
And this fear also, if we go to a doctor, they'll give us medication and that we have to take lifelong.
No. Medication, doctor is not only for medications. You have to go to a doctor to help you understand what is the problem with your report and also how you can normalize it. Not only through medications, you can make lifestyle changes. Medications are the last thing a doctor prescribes. None of us want to give you medications. But you have to make those changes. If you come to a doctor with a HbA1c of 10 or 11, I can't tell you make lifestyle modifications and come. You land in the ICU of a hospital.
Yeah.
So that you don't come to a doctor at that stage. When the doctor prescribes you medications, you come at the pre-diabetes stage, get yourself detected early. That's why we say, get a health check done every year. And whatever is abnormal, rectify it and recheck it. That means you're going in the right direction. You don't have to take medications for it.
So, one number test, like one test or something, which everyone above 30 should know?
HbA1c. Because we are the diabetic population, we have around 130 pre-diabetes in India, 101 million diabetics in India. So I would prescribe HbA1c, a simple test for everybody. Please clean yourself at least once a year.
What is worse for metabolic health? Is it late night dinner or no exercise?
Both. Both. Please take time out. If you can't get up to exercise, walk at your workplace. After 1 hour of sitting, please get up, walk around your workplace or stretch. The moment you stretch, your calf muscle works. The moment you stand and you walk, the calf muscle has the ability to absorb that sugar which you have taken and nothing has moved. Otherwise, it is all stored in your body as fat. That is why we say, well, walk. The other thing is, please take the staircase. Every workplace, every home in Bangalore has a staircase. Please take the staircase and walk and talk. You're always on the mobile. Talk while you're walking. That at least moves. And if you can, after your lunch, after your breakfast and after your dinner, 10 minutes of walking, strolling. I'm not asking you to run or anything, just walk. That gives you the number of steps which are required at least in your busy lifestyle.
And how early should the dinner be?
Dinner should always be before 8 because your gut should sleep between after 8, it should be given rested. That's the time for rest for the gut. Please eat an early dinner.
So, is normal weight equal to low risk? Like, no, a lot of people have this. I'm slim, I'm normal, my weight is normal, so I won't have any health risk.
No. Normal weight is not equal to normal metabolic health. You make the people who are normal weight, they are the ones which have sometimes, if you check for fatty liver or a pre-diabetes, all of them have even that. That's because they look normal, they look healthy, but their gut is not healthy. They may be eating late, again, sleep hours, chronic stress, all of that is added to it. So it doesn't mean that my weight looks normal, I look fit, so I don't need to check. Please check.
So one symptom people should stop brushing off.
Headaches, fatigue.
So which gets missed more? And is it burnout or deficiency? What actually gets missed usually?
Deficiencies I have seen off late on getting missed out a lot.
Which ones?
Specifically is your B12 and your D3. Yeah. A lot of B12 deficiencies because of sleep related, we pick it up. Those who come with sleep disorders, extreme tiredness, fatigue. When you check a simple B12 deficiency, supplement it and it's all gone. Even their sleep cycles, those who sleep early.
So if somebody has been diagnosed with a B12, of course, with the doctor's consultation itself, but what are the quick ways to actually gain back that? Is it causal with B12?
Yes, B12 is usually in food. If you see, vegetarians are deficient in B12. It's usually the non-vegetarian food which gives you the B12. Again, non-vegetarians also lack B12.
Why is that?
That is because their gut, as I told you, gut needs fiber for its food. So you're not eating enough fiber. The gut is not giving you your food.
So you have to have, with the protein, there is fiber that is needed for absorption. Oh, okay. So one message if you have to every overworked professional here in Bangalore or any other metro city.
One, please get yourself checked. Every year, at least once a year. And if there's an abnormality, please visit a doctor for consultation. Second, please walk. Take those steps. There's nothing better than simple walking to walk your way to your better health.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It was wonderful speaking to you. I'm sure we've covered most of the very, very important topics that is needed for World Health Day, especially in terms of prevention. We have spoken so much about why it is very important. And I think metabolic health is the key word now, which I think all of us need to take care of. Thank you very much for coming to me.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you.